Hello to you and to comrades and friends. I often wish I was more cultured and well read in the arts. I knew my poetry a lot better than I do. That said, it's not stopping me today from reading a poem. And the poem is by Bobby Sands. And Bobby Sands, when he was in prison in the H blocks, wore no clothes. He only had a blanket. He couldn't go to the toilet even because he refused to wear the prison clothes to go to the toilet. So he was naked, he had the poo in his cell, and he wiped the poo and urine on the walls. He had nothing. But what he did was secreted and smuggled up his rectum. He had a tiny pen and a bit of paper. And he wrote this poem in the H blocks, and he hadn't been out for a visit. And he'd been in solitary confinement for over 2 years. And he was full of introspection and a wee bit of self-doubt, and he was looking for inspiration. So he put these words together as he looked back in history to try to find the determination to carry on his struggle. And here's the poem. I've cut a few verses out because it's a very, very long poem. It's called The Rhythm of Time. There's an inner thing in every man. Do you know this thing, my friend? It has withstood the blow of 1,000,000 years and will do so to the end. It wept by the waters of Babbleon, and when all men were lost, it screeched in writhing agony, and it hung bleeding from the cross. It died in Rome by lion and sword, and in defiant cruel array, when the deathly word was Spartacus along the Appian way. It marched with what the Tylers poor and frightened lord and king. It was emblazoned in their deathly stir as ere a living thing. It smiled in holy innocence before conquistadors of old, so meek and tame and unaware of the deathly power of gold. It burst forth through pitful Paris streets and stormed the old Bastille and marched upon the serpent's head and crushed it neath its heel. It died in blood on Buffalo's plains and starved by moon and rain. Its heart was buried in wounded knee, but it will come to rise again. It screamed aloud by Kerry's lakes, and it was knelt upon the ground, and it died in great defiance as they coldly shot it down. It's found in the light of every hope. It knows no bounds nor space. It has risen in red and black and white, and it's there in every race. It lies in the hearts of heroes dead. It screams in tyrants' eyes. It has reached the peaks of mountains high. It comes searing across the skies. It lights the dark of this prison cell. It thunders forth its might. It's the undauntable thought, my friend, the thought that says I'm right. And shortly after Bobby Sands wrote that poem, he embarked upon a hunger strike for political status. And people who are 50 years of age or over may remember this, but for the young listeners, they don't. After 66 days on hunger strike, he died. And his struggle was to be recognised as a political prisoner and not to be criminalised. And after him, 9 of his comrades, Francis Hughes, Ray McCreesh, Patsy O'Hara, Joe McDonnell, Martin Herson, Kevin Lynch, Kieran Doherty, Thomas McElwee and Mickey Devine also died on hunger strike. And as Kerry said a while back, I think for a lot of people of a certain age in different parts of the world, Mrs. Thatcher and her British government tried to break the IRA volunteers in prison, to break their spirits in criminalising, but she didn't succeed. And for me, the message that I take from it is that freedom and rights and liberty aren't something that are handed to you on a plate. Sometimes you have to fight for them and pay a very, very heavy price. And in the midst of that struggle, sometimes there's doubt and sometimes there's introspection, and there's nothing wrong with that ever.